Hey FLOSSTUBE, it's Leigh from Creative Leigh with FLOSSTUBE number 110 on Sunday the 30th of January, returning to our regularly scheduled Sunday updates. Only 6 days since my last update, because I did that on Monday. Not sponsored by Bombay Sapphire. Day drinking, it's hot. It's hot here today, no wind. As I look out at the bushes in the wind, a little bit of wind, not much wind. Hot, really hot, so I've just put the aircon on and shut all the doors. I've had a nice busy morning getting some housework done, had my lovely neighbours over for coffee, then had a chat to my sister, and I was charging my phone to get ready for this video. A little bit to show you today, probably not a massive long video, a lot going on I guess. We're on the eve of what I would call the Omicron wave in New Zealand. So the next few weeks and months could be a little bit interesting. As per last week, I'm just working from home. Although I did go into the office on Friday because I drove into the city for a doctor's appointment. Just a regular Warren Fitness, you know. Am I alive? Yes, I am. What's my blood pressure like? It's okay. Is my cholesterol a little high? Yes. Am I still a little bit anemic? Yes. It's okay. Nothing to worry about, just my normal norms. And yeah, I went into the office because I was driving into work and I'm avoiding public transport, and it was nice to catch up with a couple of people, but it was pretty quiet. So, but yeah, we expect that the cases are going to skyrocket for the next few weeks, so we'll just see how that goes. Gotta stay away from people en masse. My dad's doing okay, struggling with the heat and his physical limitations at the moment with trigger fingers and arthritis and vertigo and everything. He's a bit sort of fed up with it all, but I don't know, it's, you know, all I can do is say sounds crap. That's all I've got really. It's just, yeah, there's a lot of things they can't fix, so I don't know what that means. He just has to find his new normal as well. My aunt, who I visited in care last week, has sort of had quite a downturn. I don't know. Her health has worsened over this last week, and my cousin had put the call out for people to come and I guess have their last visit. But now my aunt has asked for no visitors. She's on a lot of morphine, palliative care basically, and is too tired to see people. So I'm not expecting her to hang on much longer really. So again, I'm ever so grateful that I took the opportunity to go and visit with her last week and give her a hug, because some other cousins can't get to see her now. So yeah, it's quite sad. It sucks a little bit. But anyway, something I meant to show you last week relating to my visit was on the Sunday I visited with my oldest aunt, Auntie Anne, and back in the late 90s, I think, probably 97 or 98, I stitched a Mirabelia, but I didn't really want it. I liked stitching it and I think it's beautiful, but I just didn't see it ever being on my wall. And my aunt visited and she liked it. Anyway, we did a bit of a deal. She gave me some money towards the materials and then got it framed for herself. And she still has it in her bedroom, above her bed. And I visited her in her new house and I took a photo of it. Terrible photo because there's a bit of glare, but I'm going to insert it up here. And it's Mirabilia Sleeping Beauty, which I stitched with cord for materials on, would have been a 32 count. The fabric may or may not have been one of the cord falls. I think I did a lot of witch hilt back then. Like often the Mirabilia is called for either a witch hilt or a Zweigart fabric as an alternative, and it was probably on one of the cord falls. I would have got everything by mail order from probably Palmerston North back then. Anyway, she is lovely. She does have some beading on her, and she, as a design, she has a particularly lovely face. So just 2 over 2 for the face. I don't do 1 over 1 for Mirabilias. I didn't even know that was a thing. Anyway, that's probably my 9th Mirabelia. You've seen the past 8 that I've stitched that I still have, and they are all back in videos, sort of like the first half dozen videos I did, 1 through 6, I think I showed most of the things that were hanging in my closet. Anyway, I just took a picture while I was here. I'm slowly, as I visit people who I've stitched things for, either on commission or as gifts or what have you, I am getting pictures of them. And I've still got some CDs I need to go through. I'm pretty sure I have some pictures of a whole lot of cross stitch that I sold years ago on CD. I just have to go through these old CDs and copy the files onto OneDrive or something. Yesterday we went to the Wellington Stitching Facebook group. We had our, what would be potentially quarterly-ish stitchy get-together. At this stage, they've been organised for weekends in months that there are 5 Saturdays, which we have 4 this year. We've got yesterday, April, July and October. So yesterday we had our meeting, and because as at yesterday we didn't have any reports of COVID and really out in the community, we all decided it was safe to meet. So we had a lovely afternoon just catching up and stitching and getting to see what people are working on and get to know a few people a bit better. Hello people that I got to know a little bit better. And yeah, that was a nice afternoon. And because Judith and Anne were there, that meant I could pick up my Ruskin's penguins, because we did a stitch along, but a start along together. I am only going to stitch this when I am in their company. They don't have to, but yeah, this is where I got to yesterday. It's pretty much I got all of this border done with the white, and I think I was about here when I finished the other week. On the 15th, I think I started this, and then I got all of that done yesterday. So this is Ruskin's Penguins by Modern Folk Embroidery. I'm stitching this on 32 count Wintergreen from Country Stitch, 2/2. I'm using my own choices. I've got Gentle Arts wrought iron I'm using for the black, and Tom and Lily Armandier for the white. I have ordered another skein of this because I don't think I'll have enough doing 2/2 on 32. I'm pretty sure I'm going to run out of that in the penguins. So I have, and with all the what do you call it? All the snowflakes on the outside. I will have to get more of this. I'm less worried about this. I've got enough, I think, to finish the border. I probably don't have enough to finish the border. Has anyone ever had Gentle Arts and the skeins, the threads, the lengths of thread have only had 5 strands? I had 2 skeins. They were brand new, and I pulled off a length, which I then cut in half because they're too long. And on both skeins, I've had at least 2 lengths of thread that only had 5 threads in the skein, not 6. So that's weird, right? It must have been a dodgy batch, maybe, because I bought these two together, so they would have been probably in the same dye lot. And I'm wondering if there was a dodgy base thread, so totally ripped off. Anyway, and they were new skeins, and as I said, they were both cards had at least 1. One of them had 2. I haven't checked all of them. Oh yeah, there's another one on here that actually has 5. So that's really frustrating. But anyway, I've never had that before, so I don't know. That surprises me how that would even happen. But I've ordered another skein of that. I need to get 1 or 2 more skeins of that to finish because it's gonna chew through that. So that is what I worked on yesterday. And it's so tiny, and Anne is doing hers on 16 count Aida, but a pale blue and using DMC, and Judith is stitching hers on a 40 count Wee Linen Company, very close to what the picture looks like, and a real sampler colour. And she's using Classic Colourworks, and hers is so tiny. I mean, this is not huge. Hers is so tiny, it's so cute. Anyway, I really like it. It's going to be fun when they're all finished and we can compare our posse of penguins. So that'll go away until we stitch together again. This is all going to be all over the show. Oh, while I was at our Stitchy gathering, Catherine gave me a lovely birthday card and a couple of skeins of gumnut yarns. And she said orange is not her colour. I think she said that her brother, I can't remember what she said, got a whole lot of stuff for her, but I've not stitched with gum nuts, and it's basically silk pearl. So I'm going to have to find some project to use that on, something that would like a whole lot of texture. So yeah, but they are really lovely, so I really appreciate that. It was a really nice gift. Also in the mail this week I got my 2 skeins of Gloriana that I needed for my Giovanni's alphabet. So this is now officially kitted up. So I got 2 4-yard skeins of their colour Royal Plum from Gloriana, and it is quite nice. It's, yeah, some really rich violets, sort of grey, dark charcoaly greys and some blues. Now I ordered this from Jay's Cross Stitch, and they are in, it's just an Etsy store. So anyone in New Zealand and Australia wanting to order stuff, now on her Etsy store, which is just etsy.com/shop/jaysxstitch, she doesn't necessarily have everything listed on her Etsy store that she could order. So flick her an email either through Etsy or Instagram, jaysxstitch@gmail.com, and just ask her if you want to order stuff in or what she has. It's interesting having a look at her Etsy shop. She has some of her own designs and things, which included a little freebie chart. I'm not going to show all of it, but it's a little kangaroo, and she's charted it for use with cottage garden threads, but you can use any kind of thread if you like. But yeah, it's just a sweet little kangaroo chart that she included as a thank you. So yeah, that was really nice. So I said I'd give her a bit of a shout out. I need to follow her on Instagram. But as I said, that's Giovanni's alphabet all kitted up. I've also kitted up something else in the meantime, which I didn't show you a while back. A combination of called for, I think I've got 1 called for and the rest of my own conversion. This chart Sam gifted to me after she stitched it. It's the Harvest Keeper by Plum Street. I'm not sure I'm going to do the witchy hat per se. I might change that, I'm not sure. But I love those beehives, and I love that big sunflowery flower on her skirt and stuff. And I've just mixed up my own threads, all overdyed cottons. One of them, I think pomegranate might be pomegranate, Grecian gold. I think that might be the only 2 that are called for. But you know, it's a year of pomegranates, right? So I've got pomegranate in there. So yay, that's going to be fun. And I'm going to stitch that on a bit of 36 count sand by Victorian Motto. So just nice and neutral. I don't know when I'm starting it. It's going to go in the box along with the other things. What else did I stitch on? Oh, of course I had a new start on Monday, didn't I? Right, you may recall that I am stitching my start number 2. It's the Pomegranate Sampler by, can't read that, Cliffside Stitches, which I'm stitching on 36 count Aspen by Weeks Dye Works, not the Zweigart fabric. I think that, where did I get this from? I would have got this from Art and Frame and last year, and I don't love the fabric, and it's not because it's gappy, it's because it's really quite scratchy, like feels like wool, and but I like the colour and it's fine. That's the computer mock-up. So basically from here down and here up are a mirror repeat. Not actually a mirror repeat, what I mean is they're the same rows in order, like that one's not upside down. And then the middle one, I have had to order another skein of floss, so I'm stopping until that arrives so I can manage the dye, any dye changes, and weave in the new skein and then go back to the old skein. You may recall, I'm holding up showing you the sampler, but I'm using a green from Tom and Lily. I did actually swap it out for the one I originally pulled because it just didn't show up on the fabric. Even this one's quite light, but so I swapped out the green, whatever it was, to Fougere. So I've ordered another skein of Fougere. So I expect the skein of Amandier and the skein of Fougere will come with my February order, so I'll probably get them in March. So I'm putting this away until at least then, because I don't want to stitch anymore until I get the next skein of green. Just a reminder, I'm using Tom and Lily and Victorian Motto. All the other colours are as I pulled before. I do love them. And this is where I got to. I pretty much got halfway. When you think that the outside, the vertical borders probably are equivalent stitching to the centre big pomegranates. And that's where I am, and it is quite delightful, I think, and a fun little stitch. And all of these bands are, most of the bands are quite repetitive, that once you stitch a little bit then you can just whip across the row without a lot of drama, really. So compared to the mock-up, you know, this has a richness and a warmth to it, and this just looks weird because it's a digital mock-up. So that is where we're at with that. So that start number 2 is about halfway. So happy with my progress to put that away, knowing that if and when I pick it up, I probably could finish it in 3 days. Working from home, I've had extra stitching time at lunch times and no commute, so that's been good. And then I felt like, well, I put that down, and then on Friday I decided I should give my HAED a bit of love. And a reminder, it's Mystic Moments 1, so this chart was a gift from Danny, and I'm stitching on 20 count Aida with the cord for 1/1. And I got another 3,000 stitches, so I'm about 6,500 stitches now. So I just carried on, filled in a bit of a gap over here because I've got the rest of the threads pulled. I just carried on, so I'm just like picking a colour and stitching. There's still more of this colour to come up here, but I want to work my way across and get all the way across the bottom. And it's not far here until the bottom of the actual, I guess, decoration starts. There is a bit of patching over here that when you look at the mock-up on Pattern Keeper, I guess the background is a lot splotchier than the watercolory effect of the chart, and there is some patches on the right hand side in particular that are charted for B5200, and I think it's too white, so I think that when I get to those, I'm just going to stitch them with the colour that it's next to, whichever shade of beige that is, because I just think it looks too white. And when you look at the mock-up, I'm quite happy with the mock-up of the lady per se. I understand that the outside is more patchy than this, because this is a lot of subtle variegation and you've got to break the colour. But yeah, over here on the lightest parts on the mock-up, they've done, it calls for 5200, and I'm like, it's too white. So yeah, I'm just gonna, they're not huge patches as well, they're probably like 50 stitches, but anyway, I'm fine with that. I'll make it work. It's only the background. As I said, I'm really close to where the bottom of this I don't know what that is, it might be a signature, starts. But another 3,000 stitches of the 302,000, so I've done 6,500 odd now, so that's got a day's worth of love. It's very heavy. Dunk. So that's all my stitching. So it's quite a lot of stitching, I guess. You know, would you expect anything less? So start number 3. So I should talk about my 50 at 50. So I'm starting my weeks on Sundays, even though in New Zealand we tend to start our week on Monday, but because I'm using an American book of days and you guys start your week on Sunday, which is weird, we don't do that. We do Monday to Sunday, not Sunday to Saturday. But anyway, so I'm using the book. I thought, well, even though my birthday was a Tuesday, so I started my first start on my birthday, the week started on the Sunday. So any time within that week, I'll do my starts. So sometimes my starts will be date specific. Last week I started on a Monday because I was away on Sunday, and Monday was a day off and I could. I will start Panoply of Peacocks this afternoon. Now that I've put the aircon on, once I get all this put away, I'll sit down for a couple of hours and watch a couple of episodes of something and just cool down, finish my gin, and start Panoply of Peacocks. So you won't see that till next week. I am using the Book of Days, 2022 Book of Days, but I am keeping it pretty simple. I have a pack of some stickers, some vellum pieces, some scrapbooking supplies that I'm just probably going to use throughout, a bit of a glue stick and stuff. And I've just made up I've punched little circles that I've dated, and when I put them in my book, so on the little cards that I do for every project, I've got 1/50 so I can remember in the future, and then in here I'm just putting the 1, 2, 3 for the starts and stuff. So basically, and I'm writing down what it is. I've got some other, I'm tracking finishes as well, and here I've got finish number 1 for the year was a start and finish that started all these years, and I've got finish number 2 or a start and finish, so a non 1 at 50 start, so Bella Butterfly started, and then Bella Butterfly finished over here. Just some other significant things, like when I've had lunches and things, I've got to fill a little bit more in. I have numbered the weeks on the Sundays, example week 1. And that's just how I'm going to track them through here, and then just adding a little bit of embellishment on each page. It's a vellum that I just put with a glue stick, some stickers, bit of washi tape and stuff, just to make it like pretty but not OTT, because I can't overthink it. And that is where I'm tracking my kind of key events and stuff. I've gone through and I've put in things like, you know, happy birthday to me, when my sister's birthday was, Waitangi Day's coming up. So next week I've got a full week at work, and then we've got another long weekend for Waitangi Day. I've got penciled in when I might start some things, e.g. The first day of winter, the meteorological first day of winter, I've penciled in that I'm going to start my drawn thread, the winter garden. At the moment I just have them all penciled in where I've allocated them, and I write them in when they happen. So that one there, Wednesday, I'd start that on a Wednesday, etc, etc. So that's all I've done, is where I've got some days allocated, some projects allocated based on what's happening that year. I think I've got on the I've got to wait till the 13th of November is I've got the Moroccan sampler, so I just had a look, and 13th of November is when they celebrate their Independence Day, so I'm going to start it then. I think I've got the Sur la route des Indes, the footsteps, what's it, on the path to India, is I'm going to start on Gandhi's birthday, just because I just picked a day. Anyway, that's how I'm doing that. So keeping it pretty simple, otherwise I won't do it because I'm lazy, rather be stitching, and I've just drawn up, I've just gone through and I've got 1 through 50 on these little punched cards that I then put through my Xyron sticker maker so I can peel them off. I've got a little pencil case with this stuff in. I can just peel it off, plonk it on, and then I've got corresponding, you know, number of start/50 so I can put them on the cards. Pretty. So, Panoply of Peacocks, so we start number 3 today. Last week you recall that I asked you to choose what start number 4 will be, because I think I need a small, because Panoply of Peacocks is pretty big and I've got, you know, 2 samplers on the go. And I asked for you to vote on 3 pieces. One was La Musique by Park Hopperbart, Be Happy, which I'm not going to make a bag, I'm just going to stitch it as a small. And then I had a little kit, You Be Well from Shepherd's Bush. We had to draw people. You Be Well had a very slow start, but it came in the end with 7 votes. So it got pipped at the post by both Be Happy and La Musique. They both got 8 votes. So what I did is I quickly whipped up a tiny decision wheel and I added both music and happy. They were the keywords and I put them in a number of times. I spun it once and this is the winner. Happy won on the tiny decision wheel. I had to do a tiebreaker, but I'm not unhappy with that. But that will be start number 4, and the other 2 will show their heads eventually. Okay, before I go, did you see the new long dog? I can't remember what it's called. I'll insert the name here. But it's got like safari animals and houses, and there's a whole story behind it. It's, you know, Jules is a little bit nuts and she writes crazy little things. If you've never gone to her website and read what she writes against some of her samplers, especially the fun ones, I mean, her posts are like, I think I don't know, she's got some good drugs there up in England. But it's amazing, and I couldn't sleep. I was awake at 3 o'clock on Saturday morning. I couldn't stop thinking in my head what fabric I'm going to stitch it on. Like, I'm totally going to get it. I haven't bought it yet, but I need to, and it's amazing. And I still need to do Quinto Oculto. Like, I am doing the pointed 5th. Is that it? The pointed 5th, the Quinto Oculto this year. I don't even have the fabric for it yet. I don't have anything. I need to get my shit together. But I'm like, oh my God, I want to stitch Anzac for my sister. I want to stitch the pyramid one. I want to stitch Castles in the Air. I still want to do Pandemic. I want to stitch the New Normal. There's so many. I don't even have enough walls. Anyway, I'm like obsessed. So walk, don't run. No, run, don't walk. Go and have a look at it. It's amazing. And it's big. It's another like 400 by... I'm not worried about, like, for me, that's not overwhelming. I can whip up a long dog in a couple of months if I went monogamous on it. I'm not worried about that. It's more about the fact that I don't know. I don't know. I'm just like freaking out about it. I love it so much. And I'm like, I know the fabric I want. I need to go find the fabric. It won't. I just know the kind of fabric I want. And I'm like, I can't wait to do it. It's crazy, right? Anyway, I'm all about the long dog. And then there's just so many beautiful designs. God, I hope my arthritis doesn't kick in or get worse, or my talus elbow doesn't get worse, so I can keep stitching. Okay, I'm gonna go because it's just like getting into rambling mania now. I will talk to you all next week. Have a great week, keep safe. If you can keep my aunt in your thoughts, and my cousin particularly. And I just hope she doesn't suffer, because she's, it's the end of her life, and it's horror. It's a horrible disease. Most diseases are horrible. And yeah, it's sad. Anyway, I'm gonna go do some stitching and edit some videos, and I'll see you all next week. Take care, be safe, don't let your needles rust. Ciao.